guys, welcome back to Tom Mods Things. Today we are back in the shed. We are working on Max Power 106. Got a fair few bits to do today. We've been also doing a hell of a lot in the sort of background at the moment. From the last episode, if you saw, we started fully stripping out all of the old Clifford Alarm system. Now we are still working through some problems with that where the starter motor will not kick in, but we'll get onto that in a bit. What I'll do now is I'll flip you around and we'll just go through some of the changes that have happened in the background. Right, first things first, best thing to start with, our door struts are now in on both sides. So both Lambo doors Lambo now, which is all good. Just got a few little tidy bits with the cabling and stuff to sort out, but that is awesome, which means that we can have the doors up and it makes it a hell of a lot easier to get in and out of the car. Coming around to the interior, both seats now fully mounted in, so we've got drivers and passenger, and we are currently working through getting the door cards back on. We've worked out a system where we can keep the original handles along with the solenoids so that we still have a physical handle for the inside, which means that we don't need to add anything in, which is awesome, because otherwise we would have had to sort something out for that. You can just see up here, windscreen with all the seal and everything, so this is now fully bonded in, so windscreen is now in the car and the car is technically watertight. We haven't tested my sealing skills yet for a windscreen, which I've never done before, but that was an interesting one to do as one person, trying to sort of take this whole thing and get it on there, but anyway, got there in the end. New parts, we've got, I'll go around and show you, to match our chrome wing mirror situation. We've also got some chrome wiper blades, which, I mean, is period correct, love them or hate them. So that is what we have got going on there. Then similar thing around the back. Rear wing is now back on and properly mounted. Rear window is now fully bonded in, which is cool. Lights are all in, and then as you can just see down here, just on this bit, this is where the rear indicators are now, and they are all fully working on both sides, which is cool. So we have indicators on the back. And small bits we're going through, we've now got our rear view mirror back in again. We are just about to put the sunroof back in absolutely fully mounted, and then we can start to paint and mount again, because we painted this silver, the mirror situation, so that's like a nice silvery colour, which is what we're going to do for quite a few of the dash pieces. We've also got a new steering wheel turning up as well, but we'll do that in another episode because that's not turned up yet. But yeah, so then we can start to paint all of these bits for winding, winding the sunroof in, and then there's a whole piece that kind of clicks in there anyway to have all of these light situations, which we'll need to do as well. Wiring's still all hanging out because actually we'll move on to that now. So I'm still struggling with this starter motor situation. It's kind of snowballing really at the moment into a bigger thing. As you saw previous episodes, we did have this running at one point off of the old G4 system, and then for some reason it just stopped. The starter motor just stopped doing its thing after we'd sort of pulled out all the brake lines from the engine bay, because we did all the new rear lines, and then we were fiddling around with the electrics for the lights and stuff. So I'm slightly sort of wondering whether it's something that I've done and I've pulled something and it's caught a wire that's pulled it out. But at the moment we're not getting any action going on, which is really annoying. But yeah, so just to kind of give people an update on all of this. So we've had all of the wiring out. Let me just get this so it's locked. So we had all the wiring out. We've also connected everything back in that was kind of previously disconnected. So there were also wires where, like you can see on this one, other things were spliced into it. But all of that has been stripped out, so there's no more of the old alarm system in here. What we are getting when we turn the ignition on is everything seems to work, which is cool. So all the lights work and everything bar the front indicators on the left and right hand side. So the rear ones work fine. We've spliced in the side light ones as well, but the ones that weren't working were the ones that would sit in the front headlights. All the other lights for the headlights work, but the indicators, which is a bit of a weird thing. So the relay and everything clicks down here as it should do, but we're just not getting any flashing going on up front. And then what we have at the moment, when we turn the ignition on to its kind of fully on position as if to kind of initiate the starter motor, this solenoid here, this relay clicks, but then nothing else happens. Now this purple cable, as you can see, I've just poked it in for the moment because we're just checking it, but this used to be like this, totally disconnected, and this was connected to something else. Obviously that one in the middle is actually where this purple one used to live, which is why, because I've stripped everything else out, I've kind of reconnected this one back in here. However, wondering whether actually there's something else that this one should have been or should be connected into to kind of get this thing going, and actually the middle one's kind of being ignored, or maybe this purple cable was being ignored completely last time and actually it was something else that was going in there. But that's sort of what's going on there at the moment. I've looked at the starter motor in the front. I'll take you around quickly for that. Actually what we'll do is we'll start under here. So then this is then what was going on underneath. Ignore the fact that I've got this thing in here at the moment. That was just purely to make sure that my soldering wasn't the thing that was causing the problem. But we've kind of reconnected all of the cables that were otherwise disconnected from each other, being this blue one and this one here, and then stripped out all of the sort of other ones that had all kind of been bundled in and spliced together. The only one that we've not found a home for is this blue one. Now this blue one's a bit of a weird one, because actually this, I'm going to come around it and try and show you. Right, so just in here, let me try and get a light on, there you go. So just in here, that blue cable, as you can see it, comes up here under the dash, and I'm not entirely sure what that's actually meant for. So at the moment everything works without this, but without knowing what this is, I'm kind of reluctant to plug it in. I don't think it's OEM, just from sort of looking at it, but yeah, so I don't know if someone knows kind of what this could be as it's going in behind the dash, before I then have to try and strip out all the dash, which will be a pain in the arse, then that would be great, because if it is just a case of plugging this in, that would be awesome. It definitely isn't, I don't think, an immobilizer problem, because this code, the 4 digits and stuff, makes this little light at the bottom go green, which would indicate that it's actually all fine and dandy, and it was obviously okay before we started stripping everything out anyway with that code in. So I don't think it was that. There are a couple of cables that are sort of miscellaneous, just sort of floating around, not sure what they're for. Maybe some like lights that used to go in the glove box, but there's a couple of these, there's 2 up here actually, I think, somewhere. Oh yeah, here's the other one. Yeah, so there's another one there as well, but don't actually know what these are for, so just sort of leaving them for the moment. And there's a few things like that around the car. And then as we come into the engine bay down here, and I'll try and get you guys in there as best as possible. Okay, we've got this cable here, which is the one that's going straight to the positive on the starter motor. Then down there, you can probably, hopefully just about see it, yeah, so that red one that you just see there, that big one, that goes from the positive, which is where that positive of the battery is also connected on that stud, into the main loom, and I believe that comes round to the alternator. And then there is another one right at the back, which you can just see there, that's kind of sheathed. Now, the connector on the starter motor is green, and the green cable coming off of it, and then under this sort of makeshift sheath thing, which is definitely not OEM, it connects into a blue cable on the loom. Now I need to start to potentially unstrip all of this really to find out exactly where that wire goes, but I'm thinking that it might be this blue cable here, because this blue cable here, which is the one that goes into the coil pack on top of the engine, this one used to have a black cable that used to come off of this and then go in with a bundle of cables in through the thing that was in here, and then connect into the IntelliStart G4 Avantgarde thing, which I have got back over the back there, but it's just as I've mentioned before, I absolutely hate electrics, and auto electrics is just another level on top of that, and so I do absolutely everything I can to avoid having to root through all these cables, because I just get stressed out with it, because I don't know what I'm doing, and I'll cock something up. So yeah, so this is what is making me feel like this needs to have another positive live or something coming in through from the car, and maybe whatever is kind of causing the relay to switch on that purple cable's not being used and it's been cut somewhere, and I'm yet to find out where that's been cut. And actually, if I have a separate cable that runs, probably won't do it to necessarily this bit here, but goes directly to the starter motor. We'll probably do it with the coil pack as well to make sure that this has power, because at the moment that makes me think that maybe it doesn't. Then hopefully, fingers crossed, this will kick into life. But yeah, if any of you know kind of what to kind of look for, because this is like way out of my depth of expertise and skills. I'm happy to learn, but yeah, also if any of you are close by to Wiltshire and don't mind coming around to help out, happily pay you to give me a hand getting this sorted, then that would be great, because really apart from that, we're and the front indicator situation as well, which I'm again just unsheathing all the wiring to try and work out what the hell's going on, because it sort of the rear ones work, the side ones work, and then these front ones don't. But I can plug them into a 12 volt and they all flash up as they should. Yeah, we need to work out what's going on with that, because that is really annoying as well. So yeah, once that's all sorted, sort of bumper's hanging off at the moment just while we're working on the front, then as soon as the interior goes back in, which I've been sorting out a couple of bits for at the moment, then we are fully ready to then take this off to get MOT'd. We do have an update on, don't know what I've done with it actually, sorry I'm taking you around, you're probably getting quite right, here we go. So this is then what we're using as our number plate bracket for the back. So what we're going to do is, this has got a kind of a little light built into it because it's actually for a motorbike, but I think it's going to work pretty well because we should be able to, and then this area here actually is the perfect width for a number plate. Should be able to mount this up in here, and then as that kind of comes around, it'll then have the number plate light and everything kind of already attached to it, which means that it'll be really easy then to basically just wire this up into the normal loom for the rear lights and everything, and then that is happy days. So yeah, so this rear end and stuff is all kind of coming together pretty well. And then yeah, this kind of shows you, because I've been doing a little bit of sorting of all the random bits that we had that were sat under here previously. This is then that top piece that we need to take apart and paint for doing the light thing. I think that's the light, or there's a light actually that goes in there that I need to try and find. I'm sure I can find that somewhere. So yeah, so there's a few bits that are sitting here like this, and then this is then for the ratchet thing that opens up the sunroof underneath there. So yeah, there's a few bits like this knocking around. We also found a different version of this as well. No idea why we've got another one of these, but anyway, we do. And then we've got kind of, yeah, all the handles and stuff that we'll need to refinish if we're going to put them back in. Locks and things for the sort of front and rear, which we need to put on for the bonnet. And then there's a load of sort of miscellaneous random stuff, like some pipes and bits and bobs. Got no idea what that's for, but anyway, not a problem. Some clear lights. Oh yeah, there we go. Actually, that's, I think, the which needs a clean, because we're not going to use that if it's that horrible, or we'll find a new one. Yeah, so that and bolts and bits and bobs up here. So yeah, we've sorted out pretty much everything that was sitting up under here, apart from some of the bigger bits that are kind of back here, like parcel shelves and stuff. Okay, might be making a little bit of progress here. So we were just going through and we were just testing all the wires and stuff again. I did do this before and it wasn't doing anything. But however, now if I just come in here, and I'll just do it really quickly just to show it. There we go. Starter motor is now working. So basically what we've concluded from that as a thing is the signal wire that's going to the starter motor is not getting a signal, which means that somewhere along the way something has become disconnected, and I think it's going to be to do with the buggery that someone's done around here to splice that into this blue cable. So we need to find out where that blue cable comes. Now I'm going to guess that it's this one right here. So this used to have a black cable that was connected to it that used to then go back into the car. It is for the coil pack, so I just need to double check that it's going to be a positive signal, and if it is, what I will do is I'll run a positive signal wire straight to oh, actually, what will I do to test that? I'll do a continuity test between this, and then I'll get a plug on the end of the opposing cable just to make sure that there is a direct path between the two. And then I think what we'll do is we'll get a cable off of this one then, and we'll run it into the car for when the ignition gets put on, and I'm guessing that will send a signal to this to start as well, maybe. I'm not entirely sure, but anyway, main thing is the starter motor is kicking over, so we're kind of now moving through some of the potential issues for it. So yeah, so at least it's not end of the world really with the starter motor. It is just literally a cable. It's probably a broken cable somewhere, to be honest. Something really friggin' stupid that I've just not seen, but anyway. So panic over. Looks like we're making a little bit of progression for that, so I'm a little bit happier than I was previously when we were talking through this. Last thing really to show before I end this episode is we've just had a delivery of a new part for this car. I think I've shown it earlier in the video. If not, I'll show it in a sec. But I've been doing some of the interior pieces, so I've been painting those silver for the moment, because I think with the sort of pearlescent paint on the outside, you've got chrome mirrors, chrome wipers that I showed earlier. I think silver accents on the inside, which also match like some of the silver detailing on the Porsche Cayman seats, could actually look really, really cool. And it also means that because the base car's silver anyway, or grey or whatever, it means that we can kind of hide some of the bits that maybe we don't finish in time, and get that all sorted. So anyway, I'll just flip you around and show you exactly what I've got. And there we have it, typical 90s. Now, I am not convinced that this is the genuine Momo wheel by any means. However, picked up on the cheap, happy days, and really the only thing that we were concentrating on was, does it look period correct? Basically, does it look a bit weird shaped, and is it some crazy colour on top and going to look out of place on any normal vehicle? But what we'll do is we'll open this up and show you exactly what we've got. And as we take this out, there we go. So very, very, very 90s spec wheel for this, with the silver accents and obviously the flat bottom, weird shaped stuff going on, thumb grip for all of the sheer power that we're going to be trying to control out of this 1.6. And this is the replacement for what we have in there at the moment, which is just a very boring OEM wheel. So if we're thinking silver accents and stuff, and then we've got that bad boy on there, a little bit smaller as well, so we can get all those handbrake turns and stuff in. But yeah, I think you'll agree that that is a period correct wheel for this car. So once all this silver bits go in, as you can see up on the shelf at the moment, we've got silver pieces for the sunroof. All those bits are currently just sitting there drying off. We've also got the silver handles, where once the cover goes over the top of that, that's going to be great. And then what we're going to do here as well, if I manage to get it to focus in, which it is deciding it doesn't want to do. Perfect. 2 seconds. Right, there we go. So yeah, all of these silver bits. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the dials out, and we're going to get those all done silver as well. And then we're probably going to do something with the front of this as well. We'd previously put a sort of flip out head unit in up here. Still I'm in an iron about whether to keep that or actually remove all of this lower section around here and stick an iPad in the dash and then blend it all in. But then basically what we'll do is we'll paint all of the surround silver to match. And then obviously we've got silver pedals, we've got silver bits on the seats, as you can see up here, and this is all gonna come together, which is cool. Yeah, I'm gonna ignore that mess because I need to sort that out at some point. And then we'll get a silver PlayStation somewhere, whether we put it in the glove box or we stick it behind me in the back, and that should all match together. So yeah, happy with that. Cheap, but hey ho, it is what it is, and it will suit this build perfectly. So yes, that's going to be it for this episode. Cheers everyone for watching. Stay tuned for more updates. Now that we know what's going on with the starter and I've stripped out all the old alarm system, we're well on our way to this being a just turnkey and get it to drive without all the faffing around with all that rubbish. Made progress on the exterior, so that's pretty much now ready to go for getting wrapped, which we're just waiting on a date now with Andy to get that booked in, and then as soon as that's booked in, we'll ship it over to him, and we're going to do some planning to do something pretty cool with that. So we're going to do sort of a multi-part series on my channel to basically go through the process from start to finish of exactly what it takes to wrap a car. Even more crazy is going to be, obviously, it's going to be this thing as well with all the crazy shapes, and we're going to sort of show warts and all of exactly what it's like in a wrapping company, because usually you just see the start car looking rubbish going in, and then you see the nice finished car coming out, but actually there are tons of work that goes on in between, and I think it's just quite an interesting thing to witness, especially from someone as skilled as him. So stay tuned for that. Yeah, as I said on sort of previous videos and stuff, keep an eye on my Instagram. I do post up a lot of stuff on that before I manage to get it into a video. It's just really easy and quick to be able to just post stuff up as I'm sort of managing to do stuff in the time that I have spare at the moment. Whereas doing a video takes a hell of a lot more time because I've got to film it and edit it and then make sure it goes up correctly and isn't totally rubbish. So yeah, anyway, cheers guys for watching. Stay tuned for more content and I'll see you guys in the next one. See you later.